What is up, guys? It's Jimbo here and welcome to another video. Today we're taking a look at the extended gameplay preview for The Lords of the Fallen. I covered this previously on the channel with a couple of reactions, and I wanted to go down some of the brief things that we got to see, purely because I thought they were pretty damn good, and they did a very good showing here. I did do an initial reaction to this, but unfortunately my OBS crashed, so I wasn't able to do this. But the first thing that we get to see in the trailer is actually a boss fight, and the thing that they talked about the most when it comes to this boss fight, which I liked, is that the main concept of the game is that you are between two worlds. If you die in one of the worlds, then you will get an additional chance to be able to fight the boss and continue on. But there's also a downside to these certain things when it comes to resource cost with trying to get into the other world, and there's also a price to pay whenever you're doing some exploration. But if we jump into the combat, the thing that I like to see here is that the bosses are trying to do something unique, trying to do something a little bit different to what we've seen in the genre. I love this dark fantasy genre like very, very much, and we get to see quite a lot of good combat gameplay here. The only problem I have is that we didn't get to see the UI at all. I wanted to see how it actually looks, because this is obviously with no HUD. I would like to see how, the HUD is laid out, how the buttons are being pressed, and what they have to do in order to do things, because I think the way that they showed this was on controller as well. I don't think this will be on mouse and keyboard, but this fight definitely looks pretty interesting. You've got a couple of different things that you can do, and they've said that the way that you interact with your magic and also your attacks also play into, they're going to be quick access, so you're not having to swap between lots of stuff while you're doing things. I hope, because I know that's one of my biggest gripes with the Dark Souls franchise, is that if you want to swap between different spells, you have to do down on the D-pad really quickly, and you could miss something. But if you can set the specific ones that you want onto your bar, or like your skills, then hopefully that will be a little bit more of ease. Now, this mechanic that we are seeing right here gives us the ability to spend a resource. This isn't like a bonfire. It allows us to transfer between worlds. A little bit further on into the gameplay, though, you do see them actually go to a bonfire that they're able to use to be able to, I say a bonfire, but a rest point to be able to level up. And I'm pretty sure that's going to reset the enemies as well. And I love the exploration factor that we had here with the going between the worlds to be able to navigate to get a specific item. And then, as you can see, we're going to be fighting a bunch of these enemies. And the game looks gorgeous. I will say that right here. Like, the ability to swap between worlds, and obviously the compression on YouTube doesn't do this justice, but here's the little like rest point that we have, and it allows you to also transfer back into the main world. But yeah, the game looks gorgeous. It looks like it's able to it's running on Unreal 5 as well, which looks amazing. And yeah, the next section, which we can go in and talk about, is they spoke about the different schools of magic. Now, this is a more of a magic dealer. Now, I don't know how much of a resource this is going to play, whether or not we're going to have a mana bar, whether this is going to regenerate at all, or we're going to have cooldowns on them. But it seems as if the mage in this fight did a very good amount of spells. There was an incinerate, there was an explosion. They also had these two spiked knives that they were using, like basically spike fists, which are pretty cool. And then the other thing on top of that is that they were able to showcase just how much of a difference the gameplay style is between sword and shield to being super aggressive with the magic. This ability right here, the incinerate, is really cool. They've added the fire effects. The thing that I took away from this as I was initially watching is just how good it looks in Unreal 5. Now, I'm not a graphics type of person, but I've been wanting to see how Unreal 5 is able to run a bunch of things, and this is taking full advantage of that. And this type of combat was super fun and super slick. A little bit later on, they are into a different area, which is, I think the game is basically semi-open world, and has a bunch of different areas to go and explore. Whether or not it's going to be similar to how Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 is, or the other Souls games, trying to have the ability to warp between areas. So it is open world, but it's not like fully like traversable, kind of like how Elden Ring is. And something that I did enjoy a lot with this is just the showcase of areas. We had a really cool gothic interior. And then look at this on the outside. This is just such a amazing experience, and because you're going between like a visual experience, should I say an amazing visual experience, because you're going between these different areas. Now, in this fight just here, they showcased a really cool ability to do with the lamp. The lamp that we have, can't remember what the name of it was off the top of my head right now, but they have the ability to soul rend, which means you can pull the soul of an enemy, whether or not they're stunned, and do a big amount of damage to them. I like that fact. It's something new, something unique that I've not seen before. And yeah, the game definitely looks challenging, unless it's just how the gear that this person's running isn't very good. Is a different question to be answered. But let's skip a little bit forward to the actual rogue gameplay, because the next part is super awesome. Skipping forward to the rogue gameplay, I really enjoyed this, mainly down to the fact that we got to see another style of play. We got to see bow and arrows and also some knives. But the key thing about this is that we got to see co-op gameplay, and I'll skip to it in just a moment. But the thing that I liked about the rogue is just how different it is to the mage, how different it is to the sword and shield character, and the ability to customize the way that you want to play. I also did notice that the ranged gameplay may just be lock-on. It may not be as in you are actually aiming, which is a key thing. But here, I think that they go into a rest point, and this is how you summon a character. Now, they did state in the audio, the person that was doing the voiceover, that they can spawn in at any time whenever you get this thing, and they can stay in as long as they want. Now, I don't know whether or not this is going to be the same as Elden Ring. If they die, then they're not going to be able to come back, whether or not they can be revived. I'm not too sure about that, because I'd have to check it out in-game for myself, or, if there's some FAQs online that I can find. But what I did like about the co-op gameplay is that the actual character that the main character was playing with was using Radiant Magic. And the Radiant Magic is the other school of magic that's in the game. They were able to use this to do different buffs and also do some damage. There's some really cool lightning abilities, and then also some other buffing. Now, if I can combine this with a sword and shield character and become like an alternate Holy Knight type thing, I think it's one of my favorite things to do in games, then yeah, we get to see some really cool buffs, whether or not that's going to be damaging them or damage buffs as we play. And I wonder how it's going to progress with co-op. Is there going to be co-op progression? If I join your game, is it going to progress for you, or am I going to have to go do stuff in my own game? Most likely it's going to be tied to individual progression, especially in these games, because then you could just have like a really low level character just play with a really high level character and they run through everything for them, or the scaling could be different. I'm not entirely sure there, but I did like it. The last thing that we got to see, which I'll skip forward to, is this boss fight. We've seen the boss fight in the trailer. I loved the design of this boss. It was super creepy. And, just looking at it right now, just when it decides to go, oh, yeah, I'm going to bring a big hand out of my mouth, and then I'm going to eat the thing with the stuff. And, yeah, oh, God, it looks awful, but, awesome at the same time. Co-op boss battles, of course, and the arena in this is very big. All of the arenas that we got to see so far are very wide open, gives you the ability to move around and play the play style that you want to do. We also got to see some iframes and such, which, if you don't know what iframes are, essentially dodging, like we just get to see there, being able to dodge through specific attacks, And yeah, I just love the epicness of the boss fight, and then also being able to take it verticality in levels as well. I love the way that this presentation was shown off. Just going to skip to this like a middle point within the gameplay trailer. But I loved what we got to see here. It was a good showcase of all of the other stuff. We've got to see like 2 or 3 other trailers. We've got to see a graphical trailer as well that was done with NVIDIA. And yeah, the game is coming out on October 13th, which is a Friday. So Friday the 13th, this is coming out. And yeah, I'm very excited for Lords of the Fallen, especially after playing a bunch of Elden Ring. I've been playing a bunch of other games that are similar to that in the Souls-like genre, and this definitely has my interest. So yeah, tell me what your thoughts are of the gameplay presentation. It's up on YouTube somewhere. Go and type it in and go and watch it for yourself. But this is just my overview of what I got to see. Otherwise, I'd have done like a full reaction of it back when, yesterday when the actual gameplay trailer launched. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new, turn on the notification bell, and leave a comment because it helps the YouTube algorithm gods. They want to be able to show off my video more. And as always, this has been It's Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.